I need to figure out. Currently I'm sorry, I apologize. I had a little bit of issues with my internet today. So let's see, let's give it like a couple of moments. Okay, this is working. Cool. We will cut all of this out. I see today there's more people than last time, which is great. I guess you guys are more interested in AI, yeah? Stella, it's good to see you. Stella and I met in the meat realm, in the material world, as opposed to the.
He's real. He's real.
It's real.
Not an AI.
So is she. Sorry, all of you are not bots. Apologies. I'm going to share the presentation with you in a sec. Okay, let me just put together everything I need. So, do we have here any non-Croatian speakers?
I don't speak Croatian.
Okay, brilliant. All right, good to know. Because I have some stuff prepared for you, but I'll share it with you in a minute then. All right, so let's see. All right. Can you guys see my presentation?
Yes.
Excellent. All right, great. Okay, so welcome to our workshop on AI. My name is Damir, and today I'm going to be telling you a little bit about how to use it better, how to make sure that the things that you do with ChatGPT specifically is going to give you better results. So before we start, I wanted to just give a little bit of background why this is important. So a little bit about this. So the title here is loading. Why is that? It's because instead of writing a title from the top of my mind, I wanted to first think about what it is that you guys are doing here. And so last time we spoke about immersive design, and the reason why you are here is to develop, present, and promote female digital creativity through this training and exhibition program. Now, in our last presentation, at the very end, we spoke about, is there a role for AI in creative industries? I believe yes. I believe that AR tools are something we can use for creativity. It's something that can assist us in writing anything or preparing anything that we need in general. It can help us iterate faster, do things in a more clear way. And it's for me personally, I write a lot. So for me, it really kind of completely eliminates writer's block. Do any of you guys already use tools for AI?
Yeah.
I know Sonia mentioned last time that she did use some. Yeah.
I use for collaboration in my artwork, the Stability AI.
Mm-hmm.
I use ChatGPT a lot also for writing.
That's awesome. That's really great. Do you also use any tools for like for illustrative purposes? Any image generators?
No, only with as a collaboration with my artwork. I feed my own artwork, but not with an illustration intent.
Mm-hmm. That's excellent. All right, that's cool. Anybody else?
What I use is as to surprise me, to randomly. I feed my image, I put the prompts, and I want to be surprised to take new directions. So it's not illustration when you have something in mind and you want that specifically. It's the contrary.
Yeah, so it's exactly as it says here, right? So we have something that can assist us in writing and with research and iteration, right? So more and more design is increasingly connected with AI, and basically even in the meta, if you look at some of the winners of this year's Nobel Prize, everybody's talking about AI. So Demis Hassabis from DeepMind, which is a startup that Google bought a long time ago, recently co-won the Nobel Prize for Physics, because something that AI was used for is for checking to see simulations of how proteins fold. Now, specifically, this is a very interesting topic to me. And I also think it's one of the best use cases for AI. When people talk about AI, they talk about jobs being replaced. They talk a lot about how certain everyday actions are made in a way less appealing or less creative by using AI. But AlphaFold, which is a project created by DeepMind, Google DeepMind. By the way, there's a really good documentary called AlphaGo. It was about how DeepMind trained an algorithm, trained an AI agent to play the Asian game of Go. Sometimes people call it Chinese chess. Has anybody seen this documentary, AlphaGo?
No,
Yeah.
but I read about it.
Okay, excellent. So I'll send you guys a link. I think it's a really interesting narrative. It's about a team of people training a AI agent to be good at playing a strategic game. Now, the thing about Go is, unlike chess, you can open up strategies anywhere on the board. It's that game of like black and white tiles, and you're supposed to surround the white tiles with the black and vice versa, which means that basically every field, every piece on the board can be the first move. So it's way more complicated than chess is. The reason why this was a massive challenge was because at the time, no agent, no AI could play that game. And when they played that game against a World Series champion, against a world-class champion in Korea, it was nobody was out in the streets. Everybody was watching this game. Now, I'm not going to spoil what happened, but another project of the same team was the AlphaFold project. So in biology, there is this thing that happens that's been happening since the 1960s. Usually a postgrad student is going to go and try to see if they can model one single protein and how it folds in space, because proteins folding in space, it's an extremely difficult task. And usually it would take a person 3 to 4 years of research to just do one. Now, when AlphaFold was instated, which was exactly that, it was a way for AI to simulate how proteins fold. It had a massive effect on the field. So just to illustrate what happened. So since the 1960s until around 7-8 years ago, we were able to model around 70,000 proteins. And these proteins are really important because they help us create new medicine and see how the body works. And effectively, every medicine is a type of protein which binds with the protein in the body or an enzyme in the body. And we had around 70,000 of them. Since the beginning of AlphaFold, which is an open source project, so any scientist can use it, we have discovered 200 million modeled proteins. And this is why this person, who is not a chemist, Demis Hassabis, who is a very interesting dude, he co-won the Nobel Prize for Chemistry. So the reason why I'm telling you all of this is because I want you to understand that AI can be used for more than just kind of dumb tasks and kind of degrading the quality of artists' work. And especially, I know with artists, this is a big thing, and I completely understand why. So, as a friend of mine said, he said, ignoring AI is like discussing math without mentioning computers. So here we are in this workshop. Apologies for a little bit of a long introduction, but seeing that we have some new people here, I wanted to give you guys context. So when I started doing this presentation, I was like, okay, I need to introduce myself. So I asked ChatGPT, who is Damir Firs? And he said, Damir Firs is a Croatian cognitive scientist. He is affiliated with the University of Zagreb. He has contributed to the study and teachings of cognitive science, and he's a prominent figure in cognitive science in Croatia. some of you who have been here in the last presentation know that I'm not a cognitive scientist. This is exactly not true. So let's ask again, who is Damir Firs? Damir Firs is a technology investor and startup advisor known for spatial communication and extended realities. Okay, this sounds a bit more like it. So here we see one of the first problems with AI, and that is that AI will sometimes manufacture information that doesn't exist. Does anybody know what this is called in the field?
Hallucinating.
Exactly. Very good. Stella gets a gold star. Hallucinations is something that happens, and it's really interesting because if we think about how computers used to work and how we were able to think about the quality of results of computers in general, it was always like this. If we were using computers to generate some sort of information, if the mistake that if there was a mistake made in the process, we would know that it's a human error. So if you were doing math using a calculator, you knew that if you didn't get the desired result, it was your own fault. It was the human who wasn't able to give the right set of instructions or follow the instructions. Now, for the first time in the history of humanity, I would argue, we have the fact that computers don't create precise results. And this is a whole new can of worms that we need to deal with, which effectively never existed before in science. So I was like, okay, so now we know who I am. Let's get a title for this class. What would be a cool title for this class? And I got a couple of ideas here. AI Ignite, Digital Muse, Unlocking Artistic Potential. And I was looking at these and I said, these all sound boring. Make it sound cool. Make it sound more profound. And then I get something like this, Whispers of the Algorithm, Beyond the Canvas, The Alchemist's Code. I didn't like any of these. I thought that all of them were generic, trite, that the writing was not so good. So I ended up using something in between. So finally, welcome to our class, which is called Muse to Machine, Navigating AI Tools for Creative Expression. Who I am, who am I is what ChatGPT already told us, but a little bit about my background just for all of you to know. So I've been in the startup world in the tech world for the last 9 years, and I've done multiple things. I've had my own startup, which created shared experiences in augmented reality. I do immersive design in the physical and the digital environment. For some of you who have, for all of you who are in this program, you have the link to both my class and my presentation, and I would welcome to talk to some of you who haven't been here last time when we spoke. The things that are currently on my mind are spatial computing, which is a new type of computing which is happening in the physical world, where we wear a device or we look through a device and then we interact with technology in the physical space, not through a mouse, not through a keyboard, but using our hands, using our gaze, using our voice, all the things from sci-fi movies. This stuff is coming. Make no mistake, in 10 years' time, most of us are going to be wearing glasses of some sort. Another thing that I'm really interested in is ethics of technology and AI, and specifically AI because, as I said, it's an unreliable source of information, which is something we didn't really have before when we looked at the machine. We knew that from humans we can have false data, but from computers we thought that based on the input that we give it, we'll get some sort of output, which is certainly correct, but that's not true anymore. So who are you? Have you asked ChatGPT this? Have you asked it what it knows about you? I would like for you guys to try it now. And obviously, seeing that this is a workshop, I assume that you guys have ChatGPTs open on your computers. And if you don't, please open them now. If somebody doesn't have access to ChatGPT or cannot use it, please let me know. I will share some of the materials, but obviously I assume that you guys have it. And I see here a lot of people. I would really appreciate if you could turn on, if not your camera, then at least your voice, so that I know that you guys are here, and give me some responses about using ChatGPT.
Hi, Damir.
Hi.
Hi. Uh, uh, One really stupid basic question: how to open a ChatGPT?
Okay. All right. So if you guys don't have a ChatGPT account, then the first thing we can do is obviously we can show you exactly how it works. We can show you exactly how to log in for the first time. So let's do that. Are you guys seeing only my presentation, or are you seeing my browser now, right now?
We see the browser.
The browser, yeah.
So let's go to OpenAI. We can search for it, click here. So this is the OpenAI website, and then we have ChatGPT. We're going to click on it. Okay. All right. Let's see, ChatGPT, start now. All right, so I'm already logged in, so I'm going to log out now and do it all again. So, all right, so this is what the ChatGPT interface looks like. So if you're already, who from like which participants here already have a ChatGPT account?
Yep, have it.
I have.
Okay, cool.
I have just asked who I am, and ChatGPT.
Okay, sorry, Sonia, we're not there yet. Apologies, but we need to make sure that everybody's using the program first, okay? So thank you for your effort. So let's see. Is there someone who doesn't have, who never used it? Please scream into the void of the internet. Okay, I'm gonna assume that you all do. All right, so yeah, we can click here and we can sign up. We can do it by using either our Google account, Microsoft account, or Apple account in my case, because I'm on a Mac. And then we will just log into it, or we're gonna sign up to it. Seeing that I'm already signed up, I'm just gonna click login. And I'm gonna use my Google account because this is what I used before. So I'm gonna use one of my accounts. And we should be in here now. All right, so this is the basic ChatGPT window. This is where you are going to sign up your prompt. This is your account details. Underneath, you have some suggestions of what you can do with it. And personally, I use it for most tasks, most of the menial work that I do. So here on the left-hand side, you will see a bunch of previous chats that I've done. So for instance, I even here looked at how to make this workshop. So if I go in here, it's going to give me all this stuff that I told you about. So how to create a workshop, it gave me some ideas about it, etc., etc. Some other stuff that I worked on. Let's say I was working on a text for something happening in China, and I wanted the ChatGPT to write a story with me. So I've done that. And I said here, I want to tell a personal story about living in China. I wanted a new tradition of storytelling with the myth embedded inside the tale, etc. So we'll go more into that, but I just want you to know that there are many different things that you can do, like many different things. For instance, here I talked about creating a LinkedIn post to talk about AI and ethics. And I gave it a couple of very simple prompts that AI is definitely only as good as the creatives using it. That the best solution for AI skepticism is transparency, making sure that people use technology transparently. And then it made a post for it. And then I said, okay, this is cool. I have a post for LinkedIn. I wanted to create a series of tweets, and then I created 20 tweets based on that same thing by just simply saying, turn into a series of smaller posts or Twitter. I want to have a thread with 20 parts. So these are just some of the ideas that you can, if you haven't already, that you can see how you can use this, right? Okay, let's go back to our interface. And again, this is a seminar. In a way, this is like a seminar. This is not a lecture. I assume that if you guys have questions, you're going to ask me. If you don't ask questions, then you might as well just watch a YouTube video. So this is a unique opportunity for all of you to talk about the things that you don't understand, or we can troubleshoot. We can help you if you're doing something and you don't know how to do it clearly. All right, so let's click into a new chat, right? And now I'm going to say, all right, I actually have. So you can type. I have a voice assistant, which is a different kind of AI, which I'm going to use here. So instead of typing, it's going to be faster if I just dictate. So I'm going to say, I am an artist learning about using NFTs. Please give me some ideas about how I can incorporate NFTs into my work. And we can see it immediately gave me, it wrote that prompt into text, and I'm just going to press enter here. Here are some ideas how to incorporate NFTs into your art. Okay, so we can do digital art sales with ownership perks. Obviously, this is what NFTs do. We can create art which can change over time by either incorporating feedback from owners or through some preset changes. If we're using some sort of software or algorithm, we can change colors, we can change data, we can change information based on real world data, etc. We can create exclusive or limited editions. We can have NFTs as collaborations to work with other artists, etc. So you can see now that I got a bunch of interesting ideas. The only thing is, I don't know if any of these ideas are, let's say, good or not at this point. But this is how we can ask a question and get an answer. For instance, let's just change that and say, what I'm going to say is, okay, interesting ideas. Please help me write a blog post about it from the perspective of an artist dealing with NFTs for the first time. The audience that I want to reach are other artists and people who are trying to learn about using NFTs. Okay, so I've gotten now that, again, transcribed from voice to text. And immediately starting to write a blog post. So you can see here that it's writing from the point of view of someone who is thinking about NFTs for the first time and finds them both exciting, but also a little bit scary. So this is the way it's starting to write. And you can see here, it's taking the first person perspective. It's saying, I realized NFTs open a lot of doors. I'm also drawn to how NFTs let me engage with my audience, etc. Right? So you can see here that we got a massive article. It's still writing. So now you can see here, you can either say this is good or bad. I am not going to say anything yet because I haven't had a chance to read it. And the reason why ChatGPT asks us if a prompt is good or bad, if it was helpful or not, it's because it's learning from our reactions. So this type of AI, it creates some sort of content. It generates some sort of content. And that generated content has to be verified by humans, us. This is what's called human in the this is a human in the loop type of interaction, because you have a human saying this is good or this is bad. And then based on those, you will get better results in the future. Obviously, this is a way for the company building the product to get feedback from its customers. So you're not helping, this is not humanitarian work that you're doing. Basically, you're doing market research for a company making money out of this, right? So this is also something to keep in mind, that this is a product built by a company. The same way your Gmail account, which is free, is used by Google to know what to target you with, what kind of products, because it knows all of your habits, right? So something to keep in mind. So far, so good. Do you have any questions about what we spoke about?
Yeah, I wanna ask a question about ChatGPT making some sort of your identity in its memory. So every time I ask a question, every time I make a prompt, he's making some idea of who I am. And even when I make an impromptu question which is not clear in context, he's somehow, is it true that he's somehow guessing according to my previous questions and dialogues what I want to ask?
Yeah. So this is a really good question, Stella. Thank you for asking it. The way that this kind of AI works is basically here I want to explain a little bit about like what GPT means, what GPT is to begin with. So it's a way, it's a type of AI. What that means is that it's a GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. And what that means is you can imagine this type of AI as a universal translator. What it does is it takes every single thing that it looks at and turns it into a word, specifically not a word, but a token. And a token is actually just like a piece of data with meaning. And then the way that it assumes how different things work, it looks at all these tokens, it looks at all these words, and it then assumes how often they appear, let's say in language. If we're talking about words, it looks at what are some of the most common words that appear. Now that it knows that there's a certain frequency of words that appears, then it just puts those words in order, in a line. And this is a very simplified version of what this AI does, but it actually just presupposes what the next thing that needs to be said is, what the next thing that needs to be written is. So for instance, if you look at your own thoughts right now, right? So right now I'm telling you something, but I'm not thinking about every single word that's coming out of my mouth. I have a general idea of what I want to explain, but it's not something that I learned by heart. It's also not something I need to think about for every word coming out of my mouth, right? I have a general idea, and then I just use that knowledge to have some sort of statement. ChatGPT or GPTs work in the same way. So, is that clear? Do you have any questions or comments on this? Apparently it's clear. Excellent. Right. So yeah, you can think of transformers as being programs that look at things, at data and turn it into words, and then you put those words in the most logical order, one after another. So you get this illusion that this is a person talking to you, being able to respond to you, but in fact, it's basically a lot of information that's trained to sound like language. So these models are called large language models because they have billions of parameters, billions of tokens that they use, and these massive amounts of data have a certain amount of memory. This memory is limited by the amount of servers, the amount of physical hardware that they can use. So a very broad explanation for Stella's question, but effectively what happens is it will have a memory about what you said based on how powerful the model is. So if you're using a paid version of ChatGPT, it has more memory. So it will remember things that you said earlier in the conversation. And you can also add some information about who you are or the tone of voice that you want to use, the tone of voice that you would like to use in the responses that it has. And here in ChatGPT, we can click on the top right corner. If we go in here, we can click on settings, and you will here see the settings that it uses. Now, if we click here on personalization, Here it says, ChatGPT will become more helpful as you chat, picking up on details and preferences to tailor its responses to you. To understand what ChatGPT remembers or teach it something new, just chat with it. And you say, remember that I like short responses. I just got a puppy. What do you remember about me, right? So if we click here on manage, we can actually add some information. And here you will see these are some of the most current pieces of info that ChatGPT remembered about what I'm doing. And it says here, it's creating a 2-hour basic workshop for an EU project aimed at helping female artists use ChatGPT, focusing on free functionalities, right? And then I was doing a board game for another project that I'm doing. And then I was talking about, I was creating a business plan for myself. I was writing a Dungeons and Dragons adventure. Shout out to any role-playing people here, etc. So you can see here, I should have cleared my history. Hopefully there's nothing illegal in here, but basically it will remember certain things about you. Some other things that you can put in, you can actually have a voice assistant here. So it's gonna.
Hello, it's lovely to meet you. If there's anything you need, please don't hesitate to let me know.
So you can chat with ChatGPT directly through voice. Here are some data controls where you can either enable it to use your data for training itself or not. I turned that off. Also, there are some other connected apps that you can add, so Google Drive, etc., etc. So to not go into too many details, yes, it does remember certain things about you, and you can influence it, and you can do it in settings. Okay, so any other questions at this point? No, cool. All right, have you tried writing a response for yourself, Sonia? Your time to shine. What did the ChatGPT say about you?
He said I was a Venezuelan American entrepreneur. That's not true, but that's because there is a Sonia Gil that is famous, works with languages, and she always appears first on the Google research. So he is not wrong. And then I had to refine it, say, who is Sonia Gil, Berlin-based artist from Rio de Janeiro? And then he got it right. But he's very creative. He says things that are not true as well.
Yeah, first of all, there's no he. It's an it's not it's a thing. So it's very interesting how you decide to use a personal pronoun, because this is just what humans do. And, we spoke about this last time a little bit about like storytelling and narratives. We create an idea that on the other side, there's a thinking thing. And this is called the Turing test. So the Turing test is something supposited by Alan Turing, one of the most famous computer scientists of all time. And he said that if we are able to have a conversation with a computer and we think on the other side as a human, it passes the Turing test, right? Anybody else want to share their results? Did you guys try to chat GPT yourself? Sabina?
Yes, I can. It described me just perfect. He doesn't know me. Just let me open the
Please
chat.
share.
But it was interesting how I was described by the text that was usually redesigned. That when I'm preparing for the exhibition or I need a little help for the description of my artwork. So he doesn't know anything about me, but it think that from what I know about you, you are an artist with a deep dedication to exploring, layering, blah, 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 blah. So he doesn't know anything about me, but about from the text that he was helping me to prepare, yeah. He just is describing.
Sabina, thank you for sharing. So you're kind of happy with the result, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Anybody else? What about you, Andrea? The only person with the camera on. Sorry, I gotta.
Sorry.
That's awesome. Right.
Okay, ChatGPT told me that I'm an emerging artist and actress based in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and this is so not true. Okay, I was born in Sarajevo. That is correct, but nothing else is, because I'm a data engineer and internet does not know anything about me. So
I see.
he made all the story up.
And this is by design. You don't want anything to be on the internet about you, right? Correct?
Definitely not.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Obviously, this is a choice you're going to make, but you need to be sure that if you put information about you out there, these models will be trained on, like, the data that they're using will partially be used by these companies, and they will find out something about you. And also, Andrea, you being a data scientist, is there anything that I said that you disagree with? I would love for you to tell me if I said something wrong.
No, I'm a data engineer.
Oh, sorry, data engineer. Sorry.
I'm the
Right.
one working in the mine while data scientists do their pretty work. So
Right. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you're out of the mine to be with us tonight.
thank you.
Lucia, what about you? Did it figure out anything about you? You're muted.
Yeah, I see that it found few articles from Novelist and some local media here. And it wrote 2 paragraphs, not so, like, okay. I'm just searching where can I share my screen, but on Zoom, so I don't read, but never mind.
It's going to be the bottom of the screen, and you have a share. It's a square with a arrow.
Yeah, of course, the green arrow, yeah. So yeah.
Can we show?
So it wrote 2 paragraphs from about my recent work. Like, this was this winter, and this was like 1 year ago. So I see that it works like it searches internet on media, like some newspapers and stuff, and it wrote it in like 2 seconds.
Actually, right, yeah. So
really interesting. Okay, yeah.
It's quite interesting, yeah, exactly. And it's going to assume this is these hallucinations that I was telling you about. So this is a problem. This is definitely a problem, because I even used it. Like, I wrote some grants for projects a couple of years back when it wasn't so like generally used. And what happened was it gave me a bunch of notes on pieces of research which were not true. And just for the hell of it, like, I sent it in to see if I will get the grant, and I got it. Like, I got the grant with like completely fabricated information. Later, I told them, I said, like, look, my application, sorry, but like the application wasn't fully transparent. And, they were like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks for letting us know. They didn't really know what to do with it, and I feel like we're still in these days in a very similar situation. People still don't really know what to do with it. So you don't know the basics of AI. Most people don't. So to clear that up, I wanted to tell you a little bit about like how this stuff works, and then we're going to go into practical details. I hope that you guys are interested a little bit in about how all this stuff works, because knowledge is power, and you definitely, by knowing this, will have a more critical opinion, which I believe is crucial for artists to create something that's worthwhile. So what is machine learning? Machine learning is something that trains models to make predictions from data. And when we say AI, in general terms, people think about a product. But what AI actually is it's a branch of science, like physics is. So inside artificial intelligence, we have machine learning, like we have thermodynamics in physics, or algebra in math. It's a type of science dealing with how different systems work. And then inside machine learning, we have something called deep learning, which uses neural networks. And then inside of that, we have LLMs, which is large language models, which I already kind of talked about. And we also have generative AI, which creates new data. Now, why am I showing you this? Well, I'm showing you this because it's really important for you guys to understand which part of AI we're talking about. We're talking about this Venn diagram middle in between generative AI, which is creating new information from the information that it has, and large language models, which is basically coding certain types of informations into systems. The reason why this is important is because when we look at how it works, basically you have a certain amount of data that you train. It's pulled through a model. It has certain predictions about what the results are going to be, and then we have results. The thing that I just showed you in ChatGPT, where you say this is good or bad, this is this process. We're going through the supervised learning process where you are the person discerning if the result is good or bad. Now, obviously, this can go to a much deeper level. If you're a data engineer, if you're a person who is looking at more, we could call it, data sets closer to hardware, which are more abstract, which are basically streams of information, but it works in exactly the same way. At some point, you have to have a person who is supervising, or an agent, an AI agent that is supervising what's going on. Now, if we look at generative AI, we can see this is a smaller part of artificial intelligence. And how do these generative learning models work? Well, they have text input, for instance, a prompt. This is exactly what ChatGPT is. And then they learn about patterns in the training data, and then they generate something completely new, right? So in other words, we already kind of explained all of this by just simply using ChatGPT. Hopefully, now it makes a bit more sense how the whole system works. Intuitively, you're using it all the time. Is it clear to you guys? Nod, send an emoji, do something, anything. Okay. Well, wave your hand. That's cool. Thanks, Lucia. Yeah, cool. Excellent. So I want to also kind of talk to you about a little bit what is the difference between what is Gen AI and what isn't Gen AI. So what isn't Gen AI is classifications and probabilities. So for instance, we've been using AI for a really long time. One of the ways in which AI has been used for more than a decade has been in, for instance, suggestions for your Amazon or any online shopping experience. So this is not generative AI, but it is AI, because what does it do? It classifies certain things as good or bad and then suggests more or less of them to you. The same way with spam in your email spam folder. So for instance, if you get an email saying, if the email has in it the word, for instance, Nigerian prince, right? You're all familiar with the Nigerian prince asking you for, Andrea is laughing, I'm glad. So the Nigerian prince who sends you an email and says, oh, there's loads of money, you just need to send me a little bit so I can I don't even remember, but basically send me some money and then you're going to be rich, right? So the way that AI works is if it catches any of the words in that phrase, it will put it into the spam folder, right? So this is not Gen AI. The thing that we are talking about is creating language, text or speech, images, audios, 3D models, etc. Okay, so to be able to use generative AI, we have these large language models which are pre-trained with a very, very big set of data, and then it's fine-tuned. So let's explain that in a way which you guys are going to understand. Let's say you have a dog, right? A dog is an AI agent. So a dog can be pre-trained to do certain things, like to sit, to roll over, to come, to stay in one place. And as we pre-train the dog, we give it reinforcement, we give it snacks, we give it cuddles, and then it becomes, let's say, a generic dog with a certain set of rules that it can follow. But then we will fine-tune those dogs and turn them into police dogs, which are able to sniff and find illegal substances. We will turn them into guide dogs, which are very aware of their surroundings, and the way that humans use them is to keep them out of harm's way. And then also we have hunting dogs, which are trained to find scents, and bring back prey during hunts, etc. Right? So this is how pre-training and fine-tuning works. Okay. And how does that work actually for AI? Well, we have things like text classification or summarizing documents, and then we turn it into models that companies sell to retail, to finance, to healthcare, to entertainment, and so on. Why am I telling you all of this? Maybe you guys are thinking, okay, this is not really important for me. I came here to learn a little bit about prompting. Well, the reason why I want you guys to understand this, because it's not a new thing to be in this situation where technology is taking over. Technology will never replace you. And history repeats itself. So we have here 3 occupations from the past. Does anybody recognize what these are? Wait, let me turn this. Here we go. All right. So what is the person in the first photo doing? The one on the top left?
I'm turning on the lights, street lights.
So yeah, this is a lamplighter, right? Then the second one is a pre-radar operator. So before we had a radar, we had people in the military, like listening to sounds from nature by using this machine. And then at the bottom, we have something called a knocker. So these were people who would go in the morning instead of an alarm clock and either ring the doorbell or knock on the door or even shoot pellets at windows to wake people up. And, probably most of those people were doing a job. Maybe some of them were very entrepreneurial. For instance, this guy, for instance, this guy here, the guy on the left, he had a very long stick. Maybe he even put some money in to get longer sticks so he can have a bigger market, people on the first floor, second floor that he can reach. Very, very good impulse to do something differently and to separate yourself from the competition. But unfortunately, all of those people, they found themselves in a situation where their jobs became obsolete. And it seems very clear to us today that these were not jobs that could ever survive, but for them, they weren't. And that's the thing. That's what happens in every age. So the problem is not technology. The problem is not advancement. The problem is that most people don't want to let go of the way things are until it's too late. And that's a human condition thing, not a technology thing. By the way, if somebody wants to fight me and argue with me, I'm very welcome to hear your point of view.
I would agree with you from a graphic design point of view. When I started college, some older students were talking that they were making posters with collage paper and cutting with like doing that. And we were already using Photoshop and stuff like this. So, I mean, it's always changing, and even only graphic design changed a lot in 15 years. And then,
Yeah.
I mean, the technology, the printing press, the everything. So.
Absolutely. The history of human invention is a history of people being more lazy, let's say, trying to make their lives easier for them. And maybe 20 years ago, it was kind of uncommon to use Photoshop, but today it certainly isn't. In fact, I don't think you could even get a job as a designer without knowing how to use this piece of software. And I believe the same thing is going to happen with certain parts of AI, right? It already is happening, and much faster than a lot of other things. If you go back to the first slide, you will see that the amount of time for ChatGPT to reach 1 million users was less than a week, which is unheard of for any technological product until now. We can sniff out how we can be more lazy, and we want it, All right, so one other thing that you as artists need to deal with is the fact that a lot of it then turns into ideas which might feel very derivative and not original. And for that reason, I want you guys to watch with me a video for a couple of minutes. It's a video about memes. Memes is a concept that comes from biology, from a scientist called Richard Dawkins, who supposited that Genes are physical units of replication. What genes want is they want to eat up as much physical material as they can to make more of themselves. And then in the same time, we have memes, which are ideas that want to spread. And they are viral thoughts that want to take up as much space as possible. In this case, this space is a mental space. So we can call it like RAM in our heads. Ideas want to spread, and some of them are better at spreading than others. So let's watch this for a couple of minutes. And then after that, we can take a break for a few minutes, but I would love to hear your ideas and impressions about this video.
Selfish gene. Meme means imitated thing. Memes are just ideas that get copied. And the copies, they mutate. And then these meme mutants compete with each other in a global battle royale. And the winner is whichever meme gets copied the most. So, memes want your attention. Memes want to spread. Above all, memes want to get copied. Class dismissed. Here, head memes. Memes are now the dominant method of broadcast among young people. They're often just photos and text, but memes can actually be anything. Whatever happens on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, or the internet in general is a meme. Dumping a bucket of ice water over your head is a meme. Skateboarding and drinking juice while listening to Fleetwood Mac is a meme. Swinging your arms from the back of your body to the front of your body repeatedly is a meme. Even buying a stock is a potentially hazardous meme. The slang words we type are memes. Sus came from people playing the game Among Us. Stan came from just Twitter in general and was inspired by an Eminem song. And terms like Karen and woke and flex and fire and slaps and yeet and lit all came from Black culture. It's not just slang words that are memes. Every word we speak is a meme that triumphed in the great meme battle royale. The English language and every language is a mega remix of mouth sounds from around the world. You're paying attention so well, have another meme. Boom, boom, bah, bah, boom, 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 bah. Think of memes this way. Everything you do and then share with the world is a meme. The gestures you make, the dances you dance, the emojis you type, the clothes you wear, the jokes you tell, the tweets you post, the phrases you speak, the clickbait you write, the thumbnails you create, the nonsense you share. These are all things we copy and share and modify. They're all memes. It's our natural drive to copy from each other that creates memes and creates culture. We love to copy, and we love it when others copy too, just not from us. More on that later. Why do we love copying? Why do we love copying? Why do we... Okay, I'll stop.
All right, so a super interesting documentary about how creativity works. This guy, he's a theorist of culture, and he talks about memetics and memes, and he says the reason why we build new things and we are creative is because we can copy and transform things. Basically, we copy, we combine, and by that we transform, and that's one of the main ways that humans are creative. Basically, all of you at some point, before you became artists or started calling yourself artists, you were copying things that you loved, right? So you have copied artworks that you liked, or sang songs that you liked, or acted in a way that other artists act as, until you find your own way, right? And there's a beautiful Japanese a designer that says copy, 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 copy what you love, and at the end of the copying, you will find yourself. Why is this important? I believe this is important because if we look at ChatGPT as a thing that helps us copy, combine, and transform, we can let go of the idea that it's not useful to us and it's derivative. We only need to know how to use it well. And that's what we're going to do in the second part of our lecture. And first, I want to give you guys 5 minutes to rest, and then we're going to continue. Okay? All right. So I'll see you in 5.
Okay. Okay.
All right. All right, and we're back, everyone. Thank you for being patient. Unfortunately, I have some internet issues. I'm connecting through my phone for this, so hopefully, you have I have enough bandwidth for all of this to work. Never do a live demo, as they say in the tech world. Welcome back. So, okay, so we talked a little bit about AI in general. We talked about ChatGPT. We also talked about the way that humans create new things, and that's by copying, combining, and transforming things into something new. Is there anything that you guys would like to say about the meme video that we saw? Any comments?
If I can say. Oh.
Apologies. Yeah. So any comments, Sabina?
Yes, I wasn't aware about that. All copy. There's means. But when I see the video, I realize that all of this is the truth and how we all copy each other sometimes in some part of the virtual reality.
Yeah.
So I was surprised, really. I didn't expect it, but yeah, that's the truth.
I mean, it doesn't take away anything from being creative, but it just shows that the way that these AI models are trained is exactly how humans are in many ways, right? We could go much further into detail exactly how it works, but I don't think that's very useful for you guys. Because I want to go into like the really cool stuff, which is let's actually do a little bit of tasks training, see examples. So one of the reasons why sometimes you get good results and sometimes you don't, it's because sometimes, oops, let's see, one moment. Let's see if I can, let's see. All right, let's do it like this. Ways in which sometimes it works is quite interesting, because prompts are very useful, but sometimes you get specific results and sometimes you don't, right? And why is that? Well, that's because in thinking about how to write a good prompt, and a prompt is, do you guys all understand what the prompt is? When I say prompt, what I mean is the thing that we write into ChatGPT, for instance, yeah. Last time you were very responsive, this time you're not. I don't know if the things that I'm saying are too simple. I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm like mansplaining stuff, but like I need a little bit more of your input. If I get some, then I know that I'm not talking nonsense. And I see Christina is laughing, which I'm really glad for, right?
Damir, for me personally, it's the issue that I don't know who will be looking at this video like in 1 year, so I don't want to overshare. So yeah.
Imagine how I feel when I'm supposedly teaching you something, and I'm not even an engineer, you know. So the fear is shared, definitely, but I'm glad you guys are here. So let's talk a little bit about like why prompts are good or bad, right? So the thing about writing good prompt is that an implied context is always missing, and this kind of relates to what Stella asked. She asked, does ChatGPT remember me, right? Because if it does, then I don't have to explain everything from the get-go every single time. So AI doesn't have human intuition, and it relies on clear, very specific information in the same way code does to respond accurately to you. So including relevant details is really helpful to improve the precision and the relevance of the answer that you get. Otherwise, you're just going to get frustrated and you're going to say, oh, this is dumb. So the way that I usually try to think about AI is if, let's say an intern comes to work for my company, right? And he says, like, I really, really want to work here. I don't know a lot, but like I'm very hardworking. And I say, cool, I'll give you an opportunity, right? And then I say, I give it a task, you know, and the task might be buy more paper clips, right? And I say, here's the company card, buy more paper clips. And then I come back the next day and the office is full of paper clips and our company account is completely empty. Why is that?
Your prompt was not detailed enough.
Exactly, right? I gave it clear instructions in a sense that it has one resource and it needs to turn it into paper clips. And this is actually a famous example from Nick Bostrom, who wrote the book Super Intelligence, and who talked about he's a philosopher. He talked about the philosophical implications of using AI. It's that if you, for instance, had an AI whose sole job was to make more paper clips, the end game of that would be that the entire universe is turned into paper clips, because the AI would figure out first how to make more paper clips from the materials that it already has. Then it would, when it ran out of metal, it would start turning other materials into paper clips. It would create a whole system of robots which turn things into paper clips. Eventually, it would move out into outer space and turn the entire universe and everything that's in it into paper clips, because you weren't clear enough, right? So this is what you're dealing with in the end. So you need to understand that this is what you're dealing with. So instead of saying something, now let's move it back into the realm of how it helps you, right? So instead of saying, recommend a restaurant, you will say, recommend a vegetarian-friendly restaurant in downtown Zagreb. In this case, seeing that I'm in Zagreb. So if you explicitly state what you need, you get better results. So, for instance, if instead of saying I need tips for painting, you can say I need beginner tips for oil painting landscapes. And then in that case, we can talk about blending for skies. We can talk about brush choices for texture. We can talk about color palettes and which colors go in different layers, etc. Right? So, and if you say I would like to have ideas for an art project, it's much worse than saying I have project ideas that explore identity using sustainable materials, or if you want to say, I want to talk about postmodernist ideas of creativity, or you talk about being a person from transitioning country during the in the years after a civil war. Like, all of these things are better prompts, yeah? So if you give more details, AI understands what you need. Your super eager intern gets the job done, but it actually does what you want it to, right? So how do we do that? Okay, so here I'm going to give you like a little bit of a magic code, right? And if you remember anything from this class, it's this single piece of information. So as you're writing a prompt, you will say, act as a role. I need a task for this process. You should do this, this, and this. Please avoid doing this, this, and this. And finally, provide the final result in format. Okay, so if I say, act as a marketing specialist, I need you to optimize my blog. You shouldn't use too many adjectives. Please avoid using general phrases, and then finally provide the final text result in text format, right? And here are some of the ways in which you can do that. So I'm gonna copy this and add it to our Telegram. One sec. Right, so this is something that you guys can definitely use. So I'm dropping it into the general chat. Yeah. So I would like for you guys to copy that and then start playing with it. And we're going to use it for whatever it is that you guys need. So you guys are going to prompt me, and then we're going to use it to prompt the AI to do stuff, right? The reason why I want to do this with you is because I want to show you how easy it is to already get better results. And you don't need too much knowledge. So even though we spent an hour on theory, I am certain that with less than 30 minutes of using just a good prompt, you can get much better results. So this is also kind of an experiment.
Sorry, can you please copy paste in this chat also, because some of us are not in Telegram group.
Naughty. You should be. You need to follow and subscribe everything by Flux.
I'm not in Flux.
Oh, okay. How did you end up here?
I'm in Alice in Blockchains.
Ah, okay, excellent. Okay, cool.
Oh, gold star for you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm glad that we have some people from the Croatian blockchain foundation for women here. That's awesome. Okay, so let me see. Okay, let me just paste it into the Zoom chat. Okay. Let's see. Let me pop it out. Let's see. I think I can't. Can I go for everyone? Interesting. Meeting group chat. There we go. All right. Now you should see it in the chat. Andrea, did you get it?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, cool. Excellent. All right. So hopefully some of you, like the eager beavers here, already did start playing around with it and use this, put it into ChatGPT. If you haven't, you can do that now. I would like to try a few things with you guys, right? So before we do the entire prompting, I just want to give you a couple more things that you can do, right? So these are just examples. Like for instance, we don't have artists here in this set of roles, but you can certainly add it. So here's a couple of tasks that you can do: translate, calculate, generate, analyze, write, recommend, rank, explain, improve, research, right? Here are some formats that you can export stuff from in ChatGPT: HTML for websites, CSV for data crunching, Excels, PowerPoints, Word documents. So, for instance, this presentation wasn't created in ChatGPT. I did generate some of the text for it in ChatGPT, but I still didn't create the whole presentation in a PPT. From here, because I don't think that it looks good enough yet. So there's still a lot of changes that I need to do. And then finally, we have this do not, right? So this is a really, really important one. Do not, if you ever wrote a text and it felt like really generic and like crappy, and if you see bad texts on the internet, then definitely you've seen people who didn't use the do not sound like a generic AI tool while prompting. Christina, I see you. Did you raise your hand or are you just playing around? Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, like we have these 3 sets of rules that we can add, that we can do, and also we have details. So details are very specific to whatever it is that you need to do. So you should speak in a certain way, you should create a certain type of output, etc. So, all right. So let's see. Who wants to try it? Is there anybody here who's already used the prompt for something?
I was using it before to help me to design the workshop.
I see. Have you used it now? Like, have you used it?
I'm just doing.
Okay, so all right, so let's put that in. I will put it in the in ChatGPT. I'll open up a new chat. So let's see. I'm gonna say use this format to create a prompt for an artist who is writing a blog about being part of Flux EU European project for female artists. Ask me multiple questions about how the prompt should look like. Okay, so I've just placed all of it inside, and now I'm gonna copy the prompt into it and see what it does. Okay. So now it's asking me more questions, which is actually...
Sorry, I will just interrupt you. Are you sharing your screen? Because I don't see it.
Yeah, we don't see your screen.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. Oh, guys, you should have said. I haven't shared it for like.
We see the
Yes.
torch.
Okay, right. Okay, let's see. There we go. Can you see it now? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Now here. Okay, so yeah, here is here. Let me just show you. So yeah, prompts are useful. You need to use explicit content. Tips for painting are worse than tips for beginner tips for oil painting. And then here we have the prompt engineering that I mentioned. So roles, tasks, and formats, and what to do and what to not do. Yeah. So, all right, let's go into ChatGPT and write in here. Okay, we'll just do it again. All right, so here again, you can either type or dictate. Act as an artist in residence who is part of the Flux EU project. I'll give you the prompt structure, and then based on that, ask me questions about how to fill it out, and then we can start creating a piece of art based on the text input. All right. Okay, cool. So we have it here. Now I'm gonna copy this. Okay, sounds good. All right. So it says, could you tell me about the specific role that I should be taking on? Yeah. Digital artist, photographer, mixed media sculptor. What is the primary outcome you want for this process? What are some of the details, styles, influences? Any preference of what not to do? And finally, which format do you want it in? Okay, and now I need your help. Like I'm gonna need you guys, because I'm not an artist, so I need you guys to help me do this. So how do we structure this prompt? I'm gonna copy it again, and you guys are gonna tell me what the role is. Act as a what? Yelena, who just appeared. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So what are we acting as? As an artist, digital artist, illustrator, sculptor?
How about artist and designer?
Is this enough? Do we need to add more details? Digital designer, graphic designer, experience.
Let's do both. Like this. Let's just leave it like this and see what happens. I mean, I already did it. And I'm not quite happy with the results. I mean, I did not put the designer part in it. I just put, I mean, I can read you what I like modeled out of this generic
Absolutely. Let's try, let's compare with what we're gonna get right now, right? So like it's great. I would love to hear your, and also from other people what you guys did. But I would like to see if I can get like a clear input with no suppositions on like what do we think is gonna happen. So okay, so what are we making? What is the primary outcome for this? I need an artwork, a text, a design brief. What do we need? Screenplay, what do we need?
a concept.
Okay. Concept for this process. Cool. Oops. No. Stop. You can also stop it. Let's
How do you stop it?
you press the stop button. So here, when it starts, you can just press stop. Okay. All right. So, all right. Like act as a designer, I need the concept for this process. Next thing, you should, what are some specific themes, types, styles, influences that we should incorporate? You should create a what? You should create.
You should generate ideas.
How about something close to the topic of our lecture? So if we go back to the very beginning, it's going to say Flux is here to develop, present, and promote female digital creativity, right? So what would be some topics of that you as female digital creators are interested in? You should generate ideas about.
Digital art.
Voice, female artists, please.
I'm currently into machines, so
Okay.
I've written my prompt as you should add self-service machine that spits out some kind of submissive sculpture. So that's
as
I
a like a submissive in a sense of not dominant.
Yeah, because I mean I'm currently doing something similar for just for fun. I tried that like prompt.
Cool. All right. So how about the rest of you? Do you guys agree or disagree? Stella, what do you think?
What do I think about the idea of machines, submissive machines?
I mean, yes, we can use that or we can use something else. We can do a topic that you guys are interested in, that you specifically are interested in.
About digital art.
Yeah, it could be about digital art. But again, if you say digital art, it's really it's very general. Remember what we said. More specific prompts are better.
Maybe I generate idea about how AI will change our perception of the world.
Okay. All right. Please avoid what? What do we need to avoid?
Avoid being on the nose.
Avoid what? What did you say?
Please avoid superlatives and
Okay. Superlatives.
And
Let's-
generic wording.
Superficial explanations and
superlatives, generic wording, and
typo.
okay. Generic wording. Oh my God. Performance anxiety.
like I thought about like platitudes, you know, like yeah.
Superficial platitudes. Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Provide the final result in what? Is it the text? Do you want it in a text? Do you want an image? Do you want
in A4 vertical format, Times New Roman, like something like that? We can go in details or
yes, you can, but we can also just say Word, right? Like in a Word file.
Okay.
Okay, we can do that. Provide the final result in Word file, but I'm gonna also say here and in Word file, so we can compare them, right?
Small typo.
It doesn't matter. Actually, it doesn't matter. But, it really doesn't make a difference. You could totally make typos and it will still recognize what you guys want. But thank you for pointing it out. As a grammar Nazi, I appreciate your attention to detail. All right, so it's asking me more questions. To create a thought-provoking concept, I'll aim for a nuanced approach. Blurring reality and simulation, invisible hand of suggestion, dynamic realities in real time. Oof, there's a lot of that. I'm just gonna say, give me one idea. Now it's turning it into a Word document. So we said already Word document, so it's gonna give us a Word document, right? Okay, so actually it already made the download, and I can download this file. Let me just put my entire screen on, and then you'll be able to see the whole thing. A sec. Desktop 2. Okay, share. All right, so now you see my entire screen. So let's see. Download. Let's take a look. Is this it? Hopefully it is. Yep, there we go. Concept ideas. Now we just gotta 1 sec. Okay, let's make it bigger because you can't see anything. But effectively, you guys can already see that it created the document for me. Right, and it already formatted it. So we can see here we already got the result. Now, the one thing that I would suggest is to not actually go for a Word document until you're very, very clear that this is the result you want, because otherwise it's just gonna like create a bunch of documents for you, right? So now we can see how it turned out if we used this, right? Okay, I'm gonna start sharing back my
Will we continue this now?
What do you mean?
I mean, it gave us 5 directions. Will we?
Yeah, exactly.
Will
So
we
I
choose one and go on? Or?
I mean, like it's you guys choose, right? Like this is it. Like I'm just helping you learn how to use the software. So what do you guys think? Which one of these is something that you guys are interested in? Blurring reality and simulation, invisible hand of suggestion, dynamic realities in real time, emotion as data, shifting sense of identity. I'm partial to emotion as data.
Oh,
That's
yeah, me.
Yeah. Okay.
Others.
Go on. Yes.
No, I said that I'm for 4 of it. I'm asking the others.
Right. Well, if you guys are not going to talk, I'm just going to choose something. That's what happens when you don't have a voice. I think you know all about that.
4 is fine. For emotions are interesting, yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. In that case, we are going to, okay. All right, let's copy this. We'll copy it like this. Okay. Then I'm going to say, let's go for number 4, emotion is data. I'm going to copy the concept. I want you to start creating a brief that we talked about earlier. Don't ask me any more questions, just do it. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we're getting a brief like we would if we gave it to a designer, as Yellen asked, right? And it gave me create a visual concept that examines the impact of AI on human emotion. The piece should explore the quantification of emotions through AI's facial recognition and sentiment analysis, highlighting how this affects our understanding of privacy, authenticity, and human connection. Well, I think this is a cool topic. It's not the direction that I thought it was going to go in, but I think it might be interesting to explore. So it gave us visual style. It gave us the symbolism that it wants to use. It gave us a color scheme. And it also gave us imagery and composition, right? And it also gave us don'ts. So avoid generic simplistic tech tropes, like obvious robots or binary code. That's, I think, a good suggestion. Steer clear of exaggerating AI's role as invasive or sinister, right? It might not be the Terminator future, right? Avoid making the emotions appear overly mechanical. Maintain the sense of humanity within the data layers. Okay, cool. All right, format. Present the final concept as a digital artwork. Prepared for display both as a high resolution print and in digital format. Okay, it also includes the artist statement, summarizing the intended message and content. I would not like if it were me, I would say no, I'm gonna write my own statement. Like that's just my take. I wouldn't want AI to generate that for me. I would want to write it myself. But the rest of it I like. Okay, before we go ahead, does anybody have any suggestions or wants to change something here? No. Okay, cool. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say now, create a prompt for DALL-E to turn this brief into a visual. Not DALL-E, but DALL-E. DALL-E is the Oops. Okay, right. So DALL-E is the text to image part of ChatGPT. Have you guys used it before? No. Okay. So, okay, let's just get this prompt out. There we go. So now it's going to turn it into an image for us immediately, because the functionality of ChatGPT also uses something called DALL-E, which is a combination of Salvador Dali and Wall-E, the robot from the Wall-E cartoon. And that's basically something that turns words into images. And here we go. And here we got a visual representation of the concept. Here's the visual representation of the concept, capturing the theme of emotions as data. And DALL-E is basically the part which turns text into images. And we can also see here what the prompt is. So here we can see that ChatGPT turned this into a prompt that then turns words into images. And this is what it made. So it said, it created a prompt which says a minimalistic data-driven digital artwork showing a human face overlaid with grids, heat maps, and algorithmic patterns. The face is partially visible. So the composition as well, it says in here what it is. So now we got something that, I mean, it's quite an interesting concept from just thinking about what artwork we want to make. Do you guys think this is interesting? Do you think it's too generic? Do you think it looks good, bad? Is it a good representation of the idea? What, do you have any comments?
I like it.
Sorry?
I like it.
You like it? Okay, cool. Why?
Let's try a few others. Let's
Mhm.
try pull it up again and see what we got. But save this.
Okay, cool. What would you like to try?
And can it create a different artwork with the same idea or not?
It can, absolutely, yes. Okay, and literally what we
Can we say, do it again or something? Or...
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're literally going to say, hey, I like the idea, but in the same time, I want to see a couple of different iterations. Can you make 3 different iterations which are completely different? They use the same prompt, but they create completely different pieces of art. Okay. And you can see my prompt is not very, very nice. It's like, hey, I want to see different things, completely different. But, And it's, you see here, it said there are 3 distinct visual interpretations. They're not, there's only one, right? Okay, let's play with it a bit more. Scratch that. Start with the idea of emotion as data concept from the very beginning. I don't want to see a human face. I don't want to see any grids or diagrams. Do something completely different. Okay. So this is the second version. And as you can see, even though it's slightly different, it's still in the same, it's mostly the same thing. Lucia, what do you think?
I mean, the theme is about emotions, so it's obvious that the face represents emotions, and it's maybe we can ask it about body language or something. I'm not sure. I mean, as the subject here is emotions, like I don't know. Yeah.
Anybody else have an idea? Thanks for the
It's
comment.
fun. It's fun. Yeah.
Anybody else have an idea?
mean, this is artistic, and but it's always like bits and bytes, and he cannot remove himself from this idea. Maybe to ask him to what would be a graphical representation of emotions as a data, emotion as a data, but without the face or any anthropomorphic.
In black and white, for example.
Let's try minimalistic.
Okay, sorry, can you repeat?
Let's try minimalistic.
Okay. So as you can see, my AI is catching your voices as well, so we can try that. And then Stella, what did you also say? You said you don't want a face?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I don't
Okay.
want face, nothing anthropomorphic.
Right. So we're gonna say, right. So we're gonna say, oops. Okay, I lost it. Shame on me. So let's say like this. No human faces, no anthropomorphic forms, minimalistic black and white artwork. Did I forget something? What else did we say? That's it, right?
Emotions as data.
So, the theme is emotions as data. And usually the prompt, it looks at something that's, it weighs the information. So usually the first thing you write is the most important, and then less and less important. And we're gonna say avoid instead of no. Avoid. Okay, and then also to make it clear, we're gonna say the style is. Okay, cool, right? So, and okay, let's move this guy. All right, let's see if we can do better. Otherwise, genuinely, I didn't want to get into DALL-E, because if you want to do like visual representation, text to images, we can do another workshop. Because the thing about this, it's a whole new, and actually I teach this. If you're interested, there's a class that you can take online, or we can do it for you guys. But doing visuals is a completely different. It has a completely different set of standards that you can do. So here we go. Now we got something abstract. What do you guys think?
Still too much, but much better. Much better.
You like it? Okay, you think it's much better. Other people?
Yeah, I agree. I like this approach. It invokes emotions in us, so it do its job very well.
Okay. Has a little bit of a Kandinsky vibe, kind of like abstractions from the beginning of the 20th century.
Yeah.
I would put it on my wall, definitely.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
all
interesting.
right.
Can
So,
we just, yeah.
Go on.
Can we ask it? I mean, this is like emotions and data to, in the same style, to create two opposite emotions like joy and sadness.
Okay, that's very nice. And you want to use this style, right?
Like we are here, so not too complicated.
Okay, I think that's cool. Okay, let's take a look at the prompt. What did it say? A minimalistic black and white digital artwork exploring the theme of emotion as data without human faces, abstract, focusing on simple lines, shapes, etc. Right? Okay, cool. So here's what I'm gonna say. Extract the art style from this, keep it black and white, keep it minimalistic, but create two completely opposite emotions. One is joy, and the other, what did you say, Lucia? Sadness. Yeah? The other sadness. So do we want these two on two opposite artworks, or do we want them together?
Whatever.
All right, let's see what it does. Yeah. So yeah, I think this is too much for it. So I would say, so what I would do here is I would copy the original prompt that we got depicting, sorry, not this one, but the original. So I would go back to this one. I would click on info. I would copy what it does. And I would say, exploring the theme of emotion as data. The design is abstract. And I would add here, exploring without human, okay. Okay, and then I would put in here, the motif is joy. Okay, let's see what it does now. Let's see if it can be consistent enough to create a similar artwork. My bet is on 50-50. Just added, it just added letters. Yeah. So let's compare it to the original. Very similar, right? Yeah, that's where the human critical thinking comes in, right? But let's say, okay, let's say we like this last piece, right? Just for the sake of argument. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say, write an impression written by the artist about what this represents. Write it in a style of a contemporary artist. It's an essay. Avoid superlatives and generic words. I want a 700-word article exactly. And now it's going to make something that's 700 words long. Okay. All right. Emotion is data, reflections on joy in a quantified world. So in the age of pervasive technology where data is both revered and feared, my exploration of emotion as data is an attempt to dissect and question what it means to feel something as abstract as joy in a landscape of binary precision. So you can see that it's writing fairly well, right? Like it's not bad, right? Obviously, your own style would be probably different, but you start seeing how it works. Now I'm gonna say, okay, now I'm gonna say, turn this into a post for LinkedIn and also into 10 tweets for Twitter. All right, LinkedIn posts with emojis already. Yeah. It's gonna give me hashtags in the end of it. Art and tech, minimalism, etc. Twitter thread, we're getting 10 tweets. In my latest piece, I explored the theme of joy in a data-centric world. Here, joy isn't captured in the bright colors. It's expressed in abstract, minimalistic black and white forms. The work reflects how joy might look when viewed through a data-driven lens, right? And now you can see, you know, it's kind of creating different things from it. Okay, let's try a poem. Let's try it saying a poem, right? Anybody here enjoy poetry? What kind of poem should we write about the piece?
Make it a haiku.
A haiku, okay. Well, how about the series of haikus? Like, okay, all right, I got this. All right, turn the text into a haiku. First, give me one haiku that represents the entire text, and then give me 5 haikus that elaborate on the theme. Quantified joy flows, shapen by unseen patterns dance. Data breeds in size. Not bad.
I think
And then
haiku makes sense because it's already coded. It's strictly coded.
true. I like that. Yeah. And then a couple of more concepts. Yeah. In black and white lines, joy becomes a quiet code, flowing but confined. Data whispers joy, not in color, sound, or phase, but in silent flow. These are really not bad. Like, I'm surprised. I never had, Stella, thank you for this. I never had the idea to do haikus. There's a science fiction novel by Dan Simmons called Hyperion, where it's a civilization in the far future where AI is kind of like they're the janitors of humanity. And the way that they speak is in Zen koans because they can't really connect with humans anymore because they're so superior and above and far away that the only way that they can give information is in these like multi-layered like Zen koans. So here we are.
Can I say something?
Of course.
You know what I just did? I uploaded an image that I did this summer, a little small painting, and it's not in the system on Google or anywhere. It doesn't know anything about it. It's not Kandinsky or something. And I asked it, what do you feel when you see this image?
Okay.
Can we do that? I mean, we can do everything, but yeah.
Yes, you can.
And
Absolutely.
it's really interesting. So I asked it, what do you feel? And
Okay.
it
So
gave me six lines of text. I'm gonna share it in chat if you want.
Please do.
I'm not gonna share my screen.
You can also read it and we can transcribe it in ChatGPT. So just read what it says, yeah?
This artwork has a calming and organic feel, combining abstract shapes and natural forms with watercolor and line work. The mix of blues and greens creates a soothing underwater or forest-like vibe, evoking elements of nature such as coral reefs or lichen. So the intricate patterns add a sense of delicacy, inviting viewers to explore the details, like looking closely at textures in nature. It gives a feeling of tranquility and connectedness to the natural world. And at the end, it asks, what emotions or thoughts does it evoke for you? So maybe it's a way to create your own text. I mean, sometimes I create images, but I'm not so inspired to write texts about it. So just I don't know.
That's quite interesting though. But like here, I would argue, like sometimes you can't put into text what an artwork is, right? You need to say something, but maybe the primary way of communicating, interacting with the artwork is not by explaining it with words, right? However, this opens up this really interesting, intricate space of how do we construct our thoughts and emotions, and then how do we combine them with language, right? And hopefully, a little bit of what we did today, this went very off script, but like I'm very excited because I feel like with a bunch of creative people in one place in this tool, you guys started immediately riffing and doing other things, right? You started to think about different types of art production that can be combined with text, then an image, then reinterpreting the image, then taking the result and asking ChatGPT what it feels about it. So as you can see, there's a stream of possibilities here, which might potentially help you be more creative. What do you guys think? Was this helpful, useful?
I think it was very useful because I was using it just in a way, and this opened my mind to how I can use it in other ways.
And think about it this way, right? Now you have a conversation. So you can say, inspire me literally, right? Inspire me with 3 different types of artwork that I haven't thought about. Inspire me with 3 different ways in which this piece of data can be interpreted. Suggest some other types of artistic expression on the same topic. Okay, so it's giving me interactive light sculpture. It's also telling me how to do it, like what materials I should use. Then data-inspired botanical sculpture, okay, like a terrarium. And then finally, a soundscape with biofeedback loops. So biofeedback in this case being either the heart rate or the galvanic skin response. The galvanic skin response is redness of the face and pores opening and closing. Excitability, right? So it already gave me 3 different ways in which we can interact with this thought, right? And you guys really kind of inspired me to think about like what would an artist need, because I wanted to give you guys a bunch of prompts and like think about how you can create stuff for social media, but like you immediately went into using it in a more creative way than I have, even though I've been using it for a while. So I'm kind of like, I need to process a bunch of what's going on here because I think it's really cool. Yeah. So
what was, and Damir, what was your plan for today? You said that we went off topic. What did you plan? Other things?
I wanted to,
We don't have to do it. I'm just asking.
I wanted to give you more clear prompts that you can use. Like, for instance, act as a, do this, don't do this, right? But hopefully now with what you guys know, you kind of understand that like, I wanted to give you examples, but in fact, what you need to understand is the principle of work. And the principle of work here.
I think you gave the principle that you must give the do's and the don'ts and experiment. I think the principle is you must be clear, you must give the command, you must say what you want, what you don't want. I think this is the basic. And the
Cool.
rest is creativity, how to use it, how to.
Awesome. Thank you, Sonia. Anybody else? Do you have a comment? A criticism? I would love to hear it before we finish, and I would want to finish in 3 minutes. Also, if you guys have any questions, we can answer those.
I think it's interesting how this how ChatGPT reacted to our question, to our prompt. Emotion as data. I believe none of us expected this approach, but it's interesting to follow its train of thought, how the machine thinks, and I think it's actually a rabbit hole. So we thought there were one thing, he suggested other things, and then we spurred with more ideas.
So just things start popping up immediately.
Yeah, it's like a really interesting conversation with a really interesting person.
I love using it to find open calls and to generate open calls that suit my artistic sensibilities.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah. And the more you define your prompt and the more clear you are with the things that you can imagine. Okay, think about it this way, right? So I'm not an artist. I worked in the creative industry for a long while, but like I'm not really good at drawing. I gave up on drawing, unfortunately, many years ago, even though I loved it when I was a kid. But then, like in the last couple of years, I've been using AI by kind of bashing different things together, and it always feels like maybe you get the result, maybe you don't get the result. But then, as I kind of got better at prompting, at giving clear instructions, I got more and more precise results. So think about it like this: your language is like a laser, okay? And if your language is precise, your result is precise. So what this does now, for the first time, it levels the playing field. It democratizes the way people use tech, because you don't have to be an artist to get a great idea. You don't need to be a coder to correctly talk to a computer. You only need to use your language very, very clearly. And then if you do, chances are, more than 50% that you're going to get a result which is at least a little bit like you wanted. And I think that's incredible. Like, I think it really changes the way that creativity can be accessed. And obviously, it can never, ever take the place of experience, of learning how to do things, but it can certainly open up things for people who maybe thought like they don't have the tools that they need to make stuff. And I think that's cool. Yeah. But, you will still need Photoshop to work on the final result, probably, right? Which is a good thing. All right, do you guys have any questions?
For example, you don't have to know how to draw very well to be a good designer. It's all about the way of thinking. That's what it's not my theory, it's a theory that's like it is. So yeah, it's a good, I agree. And thanks.
You're welcome. Yeah, recently I spoke to a friend and she said like, you don't need to be a good writer to use AI as a writer. But if you are a good writer, then you know what the AI is doing wrong, right? And it's the same as, you don't need to be a painter to use AI, but if you know how to draw, if you know how to paint, you will certainly use it better. And if you don't know graphic design, but you know principle of their graphic design, you will certainly write a better brief, which is going to give you a more precise result. So yeah, in the end, it's about using the tool, right? And not being used by the tool. And you are certainly no tools and no fools. And I'm really glad that you guys are here. And if this is something that's interesting to you, we can go in the future even more into using visuals and sounds and making videos, because all of this stuff already exists and it's pretty phenomenal. However, what it lacks is spirit. It lacks artistic inspiration. That's what you guys have, right? So if we combine those things, we're going to get some cool stuff. And that's all from me for tonight. Hopefully this was useful. I will share my presentation with you guys after the event. Zara's going to help. I see Magda is here, the watchful eye, making sure that everything's on point.
Hi, Damir. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to join from the beginning, but I'm listening for the past hour, and I think that you were great. Ladies, I hope that it was interesting and also useful. And yes, as you said, if we have more interest, maybe we can go also deeper into the topic. Also, if you have time, Damir, but we can discuss this later. So, ladies, it would be amazing if you can share your feedback also in the Telegram chat. So yeah, I would really appreciate it. Thank you. Zara, are you here?
Hi. Oh,
We can hear you. Yeah. All right, ladies, I'm really glad that this was useful. And again, yes.
can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I can't hear you. Wait.
We can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
And now we can't hear you.
All right, no worries. Zara, I'll wrap this up, yeah? So yeah, please let us know what do you think about this? What are some useful things, what are not useful things? This is a collaborative effort. I'm happy to share the knowledge that I have. I'm also happy to learn from you guys as I have today. Like some of the things that you guys showed me blew me away. So if in the spirit of collaboration, please comment, because the worst thing you can do is not say anything, because this is your chance to kind of be a part of like how things progress and evolve. And I would love to know what it is that you guys, we can scratch your itch. We can do exactly what you want and figure out if together we come up with something quite new in how this can be used. That would excite me. So thank you again for everything. Thank you for being part of Flux. Magda and Zara are going to give you information about the next steps. Probably somewhere in the springtime, you're going to have an exam about a bunch of stuff, not about this. But if you want to answer some questions or learn more things about particular like this part of the course, I would be very happy to get in touch with you guys. Thank you all. Have a lovely evening.
Okay, sorry, can you hear me now? I tried
Yes.
to. Okay, hi. Okay, I don't know if you heard me before. Yeah, thank you, Damir, so much. I'm just gonna say like a few words. Thank you so much for all of you who joined us. It was really lovely to meet you all, to speak to you, and I hope that I can feel the community that's being built, and I don't know if you can feel it too, especially in the chat. And it was so lovely to read all of your messages the other day, all of your doubts and questions and wishes, and I hope that we are doing I hope we're doing a decent job at answering all of them and bringing clarity to this for me impressive world. So yeah, thank you, Damir, again for doing this and the last session you did. And yeah, if you have any questions, contact us. You have all of our numbers, emails, telegrams. So yeah, thank you all so much.
I would love to hear from some of the people who are not who are only chatting and maybe didn't turn on their cameras. It would be awesome to see some of you guys, especially if you're in Zagreb. If you're in Croatia, let me know. I'm here, and I would love to meet you as well. So don't be strangers, internet strangers. That's all for me.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Hvala.
Hvala.